Hey lovers, Anthea here. So tonight I wanted to jump on and do this live about, kindness and compassion and humility, and I wanted to talk about what I see that's going on in the world today, especially here in Melbourne, Australia. And I'm just gonna see. Here we go. Okay. So I really want to talk about a few different things tonight. And the first thing I want to talk about is programs, right? So I really want to talk about childhood programs and how we all are conditioned in early childhood. All right. So between the ages of 0 and 6, and everything that I talk about is based on the philosophies of Carl Jung and what I teach. So between the ages of 0 and 6, we create our belief systems, right? And our belief systems are based on the things we see adults do, the things we hear adults say, and our own little interpretation of things. And these beliefs create a set of rules that we then use to live our life by, right? And we generate these programs based on what we're taught and what is repetitively taught to us and shown to us over and over again. And then we're programmed by schools, we're programmed by the TV, we're programmed by advertisements. There's all sorts of programming that goes on when we're little, okay? And so as we move through life with these programs, we experience things. And sometimes we experience trauma. Now, when we experience trauma, that stress, it impacts our body, it impacts our nervous system, and it gets stored in the body as a memory of stress, okay? So let's say you were raised by a dad who was really angry and abusive, and you're in a constant state of fear, right? You were scared of him, and you spent a lot of your childhood being scared of your dad. You would have a really strong fear program, okay? Let's say you were raised in a family where religion was a really big factor, okay? And in this religion, your parents taught you about heaven and hell, the religion taught you about heaven and hell, and that if you weren't a good human being, you were going straight to hell. And do you know what happens to people when they go to hell, right? So you have this program of fear, which essentially can be switched on and off with one simple thing, which is a trigger, okay? Now, as you move through your adult life, you'll probably experience other things, and there'll be other programs. There's usually a victim mentality program that most of us are raised with. We're raised to be victims, right? We may have abandonment programs. There's multiple programs that we can have, okay? Now, as we move through life, these programs can become, as I said earlier, can be switched on by a simple trigger. Okay, so if we think about our children today and what they're experiencing, it's really important that we behave in a way that is teaching them how to behave if they're in situations like this. Okay, so the kids are watching every single thing we are doing right now. How we're responding to things, how we're reacting. Are we dropping into states of victim mentality? Are we having outbursts of rage and anger? These kids, not just your own kids, but all of the kids all around the world are watching how adults are responding. Okay, so it's really important that we are really good role models to these kids. Yeah? So let's move on, right? So we've talked a little bit about the childhood programs, because they're actually kids at the moment, they're creating their belief systems. Yeah? They're watching, and wow, what an interesting time it is if you're between the ages of 0 and 6 and even 0 and 12, and you are creating your belief systems right now based on what's happening all around the world, right? So anyway, so let's talk about these programs and how easily activated they can be, right? Because something that I have really noticed, and you've all noticed it, is these two sides, right? There's these two sides that are going on at the moment. There's those who are being titled the anti-Vs and those who are being titled sheep, right? And so what I'm seeing is this division that's taking place. And it's interesting because the people who are being titled anti-Vs, most of them are not anti-Vers. Yeah, they're just people who have genuine fears and concerns and, you know, want to know that everything's going to be okay. And then there's the people over here who are being titled sheep, who also have their concerns, right? Also have their fears. Also, they're not sheep, right? And so what are we seeing here is just massive judgment for both sides. Yeah, we've just got people everywhere just judging each other. And that is really creating such a toxic environment for ourselves and our children. And it's actually not getting us anywhere, right? And so that's why I titled this video Kindness and Compassion and Respect, because there's spiritual bypassing going on, and there's also misinformation going on and really big judgments going on, right? Now, what we know about judgments is that anytime someone triggers us and we don't go within and we don't look at why we're being triggered, and we just project it and we judge another person because they are doing something or they're not doing something, we're actually missing the point of that experience. Yeah? You actually need to go within and figure out why we're so triggered. Because the reality is that if you are being triggered because your fear switch is being switched on, yeah, and you are doing things from a place of fear, your nervous system is getting shot, your immune system is being weakened. Every time you get angry, you are weakening your body, you're weakening your cells, your immune system, your nerve, right? It's damaging to you, okay? So on one side, we have what people are calling the sheep, which is a judgment, it's a label, I really don't like it. I don't like other people calling other people that, and I don't like on the other side hearing, you know, these people over here calling these people anti-Vers. That's a label, that's a title. Most people are not that. They're just concerned people, right? So really, we have these two mirrors looking at each other, most of them are feeling exactly the same way, and we're actually missing such a beautiful opportunity to unite. Despite what we believe, despite what choices we make, we have a really beautiful opportunity to unite through kindness and compassion. Yeah? Like everybody is in such a state of shock like this. I was at the coffee shop this morning, went to get my coffee. There were 2 police officers there, and everyone was like this. Even the police officers were like this, right? Everyone has their own fears, their own insecurities, are battling something that we know nothing about, right? And so that's why it's so important to be so kind to each other right now, because little eyes are watching, right? People are in a state of mental turmoil. They're scared. They don't know what's coming. They don't know what's happening. Yeah, they've lost their jobs. Like, it's chaos. And the last thing we need right now is for people to turn against each other because of the decisions that they're choosing to make. So, you know, what's really important is that if you are seeking, right, you're seeking to find answers outside of you, you're going to struggle to find them. Yeah, you're going to struggle to find them. When you go within and you look for the answers within yourself, like what feels right to me? Does this feel right to me? Or am I doing this out of a state of fear? So when you do things out of a state of fear, it usually comes with a really severe consequence. Yeah, and that comes from personal experience within my own health. When I did something, for those of you who know my story, when I experienced facial paralysis, I did something from a place of fear, and it cost me my health, and I'm still paying for it today, 5 years later, okay? So it's really important that when you go within and you do the inner work, right? And I mean, go within and do the inner work. When you get triggered and your fear switch gets turned on, you need to go within and you need to look what's going on internally so you can understand yourself better. So the next time you get triggered, you're not reacting from a place of fear or anger or shame or guilt or your wounds or your programs. You're rather going, okay, that's interesting that I got triggered in that moment, in this moment. What's this really about? Cool, I get it, I understand it. I'm going to go do some work on that, but I'm not going to let my emotions override logic and do things from a place of fear, right? And if you're not sure what to do, don't do anything. Don't do anything until you are 150% sure that you're making the right decision. Yeah? So right now, if you're feeling misaligned, if you're in your head and you're confused and you have your fear switch is switched on and you don't know what to do and who to believe and where to turn to, that's a really powerful message to you that you need to go within and you need to do some inner work, clear out some baggage. If you're judging someone, if you're judging anyone for that matter, again, that's a really clear sign that you need to go within and look at what those judgments are about. So, I have a really great program. It's called the Judgment Detox. It's free. It's 5 days, and it really helps you understand why you judge others, why you judge yourself, right? So if that's something you want to do, comment below and I'll send you the links to it. So that's one thing I wanted to talk about, right? This division. Really important when you go outside, when you go to the coffee shop, when you go for a walk, to be loving. Because what I see is I see people looking at people who don't have their masks on, and then there's people who don't have their masks on looking at people who have got their masks on. Everyone's judging everyone, and it's like, well, hang on a minute. How about we just be kind to each other right now and compassionate? So when you go outside and you walk past people, smile at them. Regardless of whether they're wearing a mask or not, regardless whether you're pro-mask or non-pro-mask or whatever it is, just smile at people, say hello to people. You might be the only person that person has an interaction with that day. A simple hello to someone, right, may just elevate their whole mood. They may not have anybody else in this world to talk to. So I think, it's really important that we start to notice how we're behaving. Like, how am I showing up? How am I showing up each day when I go outside? Am I judging other people based on what they're choosing to do or not do? Am I being loving? Am I having compassion for everybody involved here? Yeah, so it's really important because, especially because I have really young kids and they're watching everything I do. It's really important for me, at least, that I teach them how to be loving no matter what's going on in the world, no matter what's going on inside of my world, that I teach them to be loving, right? Because the reality is we just don't know what other people are going through. We actually don't. We have no idea. We have no idea what people are going through. So let's say, so back to this. Okay, so back to this. So let's say your fear switch is switched on right now. You are scared. Yeah? Now, again, this is a program that was more than likely created in your childhood. Yeah, and for me, growing up in a Greek Orthodox family, I had fear drilled into me about the religion. Yeah? If I didn't behave, if I didn't abide by God's rules and laws, I was going to go to hell. So growing up, when I would go to church, there'd be these icons on the walls of angels on a horse stabbing a demon on the floor, on the ground, right? I remember looking at that icon going, oh, I was so scared of that, right? I was like, what is going on there? I remember I couldn't stop looking at it. And I was scared. I was like, shit, if I'm not a good person, I'm going to go to hell and I'm going to burn in hell for all of eternity. And it took me years to understand that hell was not a place that you go to after you die. It is a place that is created right here on earth, in your head and in your heart. It took me years to understand that, but when I started to understand that, that's when I started to change things. That's when I started to really go within and go, right, what's all this fear about? And it's easy to slip into fear. So if you are someone who struggles with fear and your fear switch is switched on, cut out everything that pokes that wound. Turn the box off. Just do it. Try this for a week. Do not watch anything to do with what's happening in the world for a week. And if that's too long, do it for 5 days. And if that's too long, do it for 3 days. Don't talk to anyone about it. If they come up to you and they want to start a conversation with you, say, you know what, I'm having a break from this topic for 3 days. I'll talk to you about it later. So don't watch anything about it. Don't look at anything on social media about it. Don't talk to anyone about it. And nurture your soul, right? Because no one is any good to anyone when they're in a state of fear. Because your emotions are overriding your logic. Yeah? So let's talk about what happens when you get triggered, just so I can go a bit deeper into it with you, right? When you get triggered, yeah? Remember at the start of this live, I talked about how your body stores the memory of stress. So if you have a wound, if you have a program, a fear program, when you get triggered, what happens is it's like this door opens up and this younger part of you steps in and like possesses you. And now you're kind of in a state, your body, so the memory of stress in the body is active now. It's been activated by whatever's triggered you, whether it's something you saw on TV or on social media, or someone spoke to you in a certain way or told you something about what's going on, and bang, like that, your fear switch is switched on. The memory of stress is very present in the body. So now the memory of stress has taken over, logic's gone out the window, and you are operating from this place. And it's a very low vibrating place, okay? Your left and right brain have disconnected and everything's out of whack. So that's why it's really hard. That's why we get anxiety about the future, yeah? That's why we have a panic attack, because our mind starts racing and our mind's going in all these different directions, going, this could happen next, that could happen next, that could happen next. And now you're thinking about 20 different things that could happen in a state of fear. Okay? So, if you have this, there could be 20, 30, 40, 50 years worth of the memory of stress stored in your body, in your nervous system. So that's why I'm suggesting you turn the TV off, turn the computer off, don't talk to anyone about it, and just do things that nurture your soul. Meditate, go for a walk, yeah? Think about the things you're grateful for. Right? Cook, dance. And I know when you're depressed, it's really hard to think about things you're grateful for, right? It's really hard to get up and dance and put music on that makes you feel good. And like, I get it. But if you are vibrating down in these really low emotions and your fear switch is switched on, what happens is your body starts to get really sick, drained, exhausted, fatigued. You go into adrenal fatigue. You go into burnout. Okay? So you have to almost force yourself to do things that are going to make you feel good. And for me, gratitude is a game changer. It's a game changer. So when I go for a walk, and I went for a walk with my girls the other day, and there are these two beautiful magnolia trees, and they have the most beautiful pink fuchsia color. Like the flowers are just, they're just like, right? You just stand in front of them, and we walked past, and I was like, guys, look at this. I got so excited. I was excited like a little kid. I was like, look at these beautiful flowers. Look at, and I touched them, and I was just looking at their beauty. Yeah, because it was a really grey day. There's no leaves on these magnolia trees. It's just these beautiful fuchsia flowers, right? And it was like a burst of color. And I was like, wow, I'm so grateful that I get to walk past these beautiful flowers. And then I went on a bit of a gratitude rampage. Right? And this is what Tony Robbins talks about, right? He talks about putting yourself into a beautiful state. And so I do that every single day. And so I'm walking along with my kids, and I'm like, wow, I'm so grateful to live in this country. I'm so grateful that I live 2 minutes away from the beach. I'm so grateful for the men who laid down this concrete 50, 60 years ago so that I can walk on this concrete footpath with ease. I'm so grateful for my warm jacket. And I just keep going. Now, what that does is it changes your state, your energetic state. It starts to raise your vibration. And so now you're raising your vibration out of low vibrating emotions like depression and anxiety and shame and guilt and all of the anger and all of that stuff. And the more you do that and the more you come up, the better you will feel. And when you are feeling better, that switch slowly goes off, right? Your logic starts to come back in, your left and right brain start to align, and there's lots of things you can do to help your left and right brain come together. There's tapping, EFT tapping, which you can look up on YouTube. There's so many different things you can do, okay? You can ground, you can do arm swings. There's so many things you can do, right? So when you're in that more positive state, that's when you can start to decide what it is you're going to do moving forward. It's really hard to make logical decisions when you're in a really low, dark place, okay? So I hope that's helped, right? Another thing that I do, and I've got this on my YouTube channel. So if you're not following me on YouTube, please come and subscribe to my channel. I've got lots of stuff on mindset and activations and lots of other things. I have an affirmation track on my YouTube channel, which I'll pop the link for below. And I designed this, I created it so that it can help reprogram people's unconscious mind, right? It's basically breakfast for your mind. So when you wake up in the morning, right, you can listen to the affirmation track and it helps put you in a really positive state. Now, when you put your mindset in a positive state and you expect that you're going to have a great day, right? Because this is, remember, your thoughts create your reality. You start to have better experiences. Okay, and then if you want to throw in a gratitude rampage every day, so as you're driving to work, instead of thinking about how shit the world is right now and all of the stuff that's going on, you do a gratitude rampage. And if you're driving to work, that is. And if you're not driving to work and you're working from home, right, you get up and you do a gratitude rampage. Like you could, from right now, from where you're sitting, you could look around and you could look at things that you're grateful for. And if you're like, yeah, no, I don't really have anything, well, clean running water, yeah, a safe home to live in, electricity, right? But I think really about perspective. So somewhere, someone is wishing they had the life that you have right now, right? So guys, sending you so much love. Thank you so much for watching and spending your time with me. Hey, Atula, Rick. Hey, Lucinda. Hey, Claire. Thank you. Catherine, Luke, Jamie. Hey, Jimmy. So, yes, Jimmy, that's what I was saying at the start of the video, right? So Jimmy's just saying the source of happiness is within. So better look for that source within, not without. Absolutely, right? But if you look within and you don't like what you see and it's uncomfortable, it just means you've got a little bit of work to do. Yeah? And one of the biggest things that I tell my clients is that if you go within and you don't like what you see, start giving yourself some approval. Start changing the way you treat yourself. Like, I think the biggest thing to help you change your state and help you start attracting better experiences is showing yourself love and acceptance. Yeah? So that means, wow, I just got angry and I got really triggered. That means going, okay, so I'm angry right now. And I'm not proud of how I behaved right now in this moment, but I'm going to change that next time. So it's really about accepting everything. And if loving yourself is it's just like, I can't do that, right? Go to acceptance, just accepting how you behave. And if that's too much, stop beating yourself up, right? Stop attacking yourself for every little thing that you do that you don't like. Yeah? Like if you can start with that, like stopping the self-attack, then you can move into self-acceptance, then you can move into self-love. So that's really powerful. So notice in the next few days what negative things you say to yourself, what negative things you think about yourself, and then turn them around. Yeah? So if you do something, you get angry, you get triggered and you get angry, and you attack yourself for it. Good one, Anthea. There you go, did it again. God, just calm down. Why can't you just chill? So instead of doing that, going, okay, so you got angry. Good on you for observing that. Good on you for becoming aware of that. Now you can change it. Yeah? And so that's how you got to start talking to yourself. Right? And if you snap at your kids, for the mums and dads out there who are doing homeschooling, which is just bloody chaos, right? Because no one wants their parents as teachers. If you're doing homeschooling and you're a boiling point and the kids are screaming and they're fighting and you snap, right? You have one of those moments where you snap. Instead of beating yourself up about that, and this is what I do, I've had my psycho mum moments. I apologize to them. I'm like, I'm sorry I spoke to you like that. Yeah, and they're usually like, it's all right, mummy. And then I go, okay, instead of going, you're a shit mum, I go, you're a good mum. I'm a good mum, but I want to be a better mum. So then that means I go within and I'm like, wow, why do I get so triggered in that moment? Because no one listens to me. Oh, that's a deep wound. Why do you think that is? And so I dig deep and find out why no one listens to you, right? And then ask them, hey, why don't you listen to me? Like, I'm curious. I'm curious, why do I have to say the same thing 7 times before you actually hear me? Right? And Livy's like, oh, I didn't hear you. And I'm like, okay, so do I need to come closer to you? Do I need to get in front of you? Do I need to ask them? Ask them. Right? And then use that to improve yourself so that you can feel better about yourself. Okay? So guys, I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for spending your Friday night with me or your Friday morning, wherever in the world you may be. If you are struggling emotionally and you need some support, please reach out. Send me a message. If you want to do the Judgment Detox, which is my free 5-day program, drop a comment below and I'll send you the link. If you want the affirmation track, come and follow me on YouTube. I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel and I've got heaps of free stuff on there. So please come and check it out and stay strong. And know that sometimes when things appear to be getting worse, they're actually often falling into place and they're getting better. Yeah, things can always, and I believe are always working out and they're always getting better, even if currently that's not what we're seeing and experiencing, they're always getting better. So sending you lots of love, guys.